Welcome to this episode of the Metal Verbalizers podcast. I'm Johan Verbalizer, and today I have a new great band to recommend, Mutilation Case. Mutilation Case is a death metal band from Hungary that was started in 2020. The start of Mutilation Case seems like it was kind of a result of another band, or well, a black metal solo project called Rem by the member N. After he released the first full-length titled Berek, he wanted to do something different. It seemed like he wanted something new, like a new band, to learn and try new things. And he didn't want it to match what he was already doing in Rem. Which eventually led to the start of the death metal band Mutilation Case. So I guess you got a little bit of a bonus in this episode. Technically two bands that you should check out. Mutilation Case, of course, and also Rem. At first, Mutilation Case wanted the band to have a name in Hungarian, but every time they came up with a good name that they were satisfied with, they realized that it was already used by another band. So eventually the band decided to give up on the idea of having a name in Hungarian and decided to start looking for a name in English instead. The members are big fans of the movie called Basket Case by Frank Henenlotter. So they decided that they wanted a name similar to that, which eventually led them to the name Mutilation Case. Basket Case, Mutilation Case. When it comes to the main influences of Mutilation Case, they mentioned the band Pandemonium and Dan Svane personally. And for those who might not know who Dan Svane is, he is a Swedish musician who was a member of the band Pandemonium, but is probably more commonly known as being a member of the bands Bloodbath and Edge of Sanity. One being reason why they mentioned Pandemonium is the kind of concept of putting instruments and stuff like that in their death metal, that quotation that shouldn't be there. And what I mean by that is that there are quite a lot of instruments and sounds in the music of Mutilation Case that are very different from what you might normally expect from a death metal album. For example, in some songs I can hear a lot of church organs, which N believes could be a result of him listening to a lot of abysmal grief at the time. And I think I can also hear stuff like a mouth harp in a song such as Eredu, which is the first song on their debut self-titled. Anyway, if you want to know more about this and get more examples of these kind of instruments and sounds, I would definitely encourage you to listen yourself, because it's very interesting to me. And I mean, I really enjoy this kind of creativity, I guess you could say. And like, I would describe it as kind of like a complete lack of fear trying new things. This whole thing kind of reminds me of Tåke and their song Myr. You know, the song where they decided to add a banjo in the black metal music. In theory, things like that just shouldn't work at all, you know. It feels like it would be kind of like water and oil. No matter how much you try to mix it together, it will stay separated. But if you ask me, I think that like bands like Tåke and Mutilation Case somehow make it work. And I also think that like a lot of the times when bands try to do these things and being really unique and really original, it kind of ends up feeling almost like I guess like forced, and that it just doesn't quite work. It just ends up feeling kind of like forced and a little too weird, if you know what I mean. But I don't get that feeling with a band like Mutilation Case. And I think that the reason for that is because they managed to really succeed in finding a balance. I think that is why I feel that Mutilation Case does this very well. They added these things enough to give the death metal music a unique sound, but they didn't overdo it either, so it works and feels natural, even if something that's very uncommon and sounds that's not very common in death metal in general. They kind of implement it in a way that I personally feel that it feels natural. It feels like I guess I would summarize it kind of like as saying that it makes it feel a little different, but still it kind of feels natural. And I mean, when it comes to the guitar tone of Mutilation Case, it is nothing less than the iconic Swedish HM2, also known as the chainsaw tone, such as bands like Dismember and Entombed. And I mean, if you take all these different elements and kind of mix them together with like the originality with the different sounds, and also mix that together with a type of death metal with the chainsaw tone, and you mix all that together, I guess what you will end up with is the band Mutilation Case. Since Mutilation Case was started in 2023, the band haven't really had much time to release albums, but they do have a single and is self-titled full-length already. For a band to release a full-length debut literally the same year that the band started seems very rare to me, and to be completely honest, it's pretty impressive to me, especially considering the quality of the album. The current logo of Mutilation Case is meant to basically look like, well, just a gory logo. Nothing more, nothing less. However, the band has explained that they don't want to keep this logo forever, and that it is possible that the band's next release will have a different logo. And the album cover for the band's debut album, and currently only album as I record this, is very inspired by the comics Tales from the Crypt. The inspiration can be clearly found with things such as the small graphics with the members' faces, and also the nicknames underneath the small graphics, with the nicknames such as the Riff Keeper and Dr. Growlinger on the album's artwork. The name The Riff Keeper, for example, being obviously inspired by the name The Crypt Keeper from Tales from the Crypt. So they kind of took the name The Crypt Keeper and then kind of changed it to The Riff Keeper. I really like stuff like that. It I don't know, just kind of how I would describe it, but I don't know, things like that kind of makes the music and like the whole package, so to speak. I don't know, I really like it. It kind of makes me feel interested in it, and like when I see things like that, it really often like make me want to check out the music and to really explore the band. And also regarding the lyrics of the band's debut album, all the songs' lyrics are based on true criminal cases in Hungary during the 1900s. Each song deals with one specific case and tells the story of the crimes committed by the perpetrator. So it's kind of a concept album. And when it comes to the band's future, the band has already started writing songs for the next Mutilation Case album. It seems like the next album will also be a concept album, and the band have already decided what this concept will be. It will definitely not be the same as the first album. It will be something different. I don't know what the concept will be yet, and the band did not want to say. The only thing I do know about it is that the concept will revolve around Hungary in some way. But I mean, that could mean a lot of things, to be honest. Even though this album is currently in the works, I don't know when it will actually be released. Both of the Mutilation Case members have several other active bands and projects. The member N has Rem, which is the one-member black metal band that I mentioned earlier, and also another death metal project together with 2 other Hungarian musicians. This project is currently a secret, however, but I would recommend to keep your eyes open for it. The second member of Mutilation Case also have several other bands, such as V, Kolp, and Forshaidu. As I understand it, they're planning to focus mainly on these other bands in the near future at least. But they will also keep writing music for Mutilation Case, even if it doesn't seem like that will be a big priority for them right now. Having said that, I believe this is a great way to end the episode. We at Verbalizers really appreciate that you've been listening to this episode until the end. And if you enjoyed this episode, then it would be great if you would like to give us a follow and help us spread the word. This way you can support both us as a podcast, but also the bands that we're verbalizing. We will be back next week with more verbalizing.